So some people wake up in life and they were like, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to fight the good fight against healthcare, right? They're like, this is really ragey. I'm going to come out and I'm going to try to get better ratios for nurses. I'm going to try to fight the insurance companies. I am going to spend all of my rage at fighting things in healthcare that maybe I can make a difference that would actually help patients with. And that's great. And then sometimes other people wake up and they're like, you know what I'm going to rage about with all this going on? I'm going to spend all my energy raging about the word provider. And today we are going to be talking about that. In case you hear my children screaming, it's bedtime and I don't know what to do about it. But we are going to be discussing today. My husband's with them. They're totally fine. They have big feelings and big noises. We're going to be discussing this article that came up on kevinmd.com. It was from July 27th of this year. It's called I'm a Physician, Not a Provider. Now, just to make this very, very clear, I am not a physician. I'm a nurse practitioner. I'm Liz. If this is the first time we're meeting, hello and welcome. I think this is a stupid thing to get your panties in a bunch about. Okay. And we're going to discuss it today and why it bothers me so much, even though I'm kind of just like the person on the sidelines. I'm not a physician, obviously, and why I think we could use our energy elsewhere. But also to clarify, if you are a physician, I hope you watch this and you see a different perspective, because I think we're getting mad about the wrong things. Okay. I think we probably agree on a lot more than you think we do. So I'm not like I think we're probably on the same team. And this is just a weird way. This is a weird way to go about it. So the thing that actually brought me into this and made me aware, because I had lived under a rock, I had no idea this was going on. I follow Dr. Cellini over on YouTube. Great. I really like his YouTube videos. I'm usually like on the same, like usually whenever, like I generally jive with his opinions. I will leave his channel link down below. And if you are a channel member, I will be going through his video tomorrow and live reacting to it. If you're interested in becoming a member, you can find a link down below, or you can hit the join button if you are on like a desktop. I think the tiers start at like $2 or something. So we're going to be going through that, and I'm halfway. I had made a Discord server for channel members, and then they came out with a new version of something and I want to update it. So it's in the trash can, but it was there. Anyway, he reviewed this and I just so happened to see it, I think 2 days ago. And he went and reviewed the article kind of a little bit, but also gave his thoughts on it. And they honestly surprised me, because a lot of his thoughts were kind of along the same vein of I'm not a provider, I'm a physician. And I was like, I didn't even know this was something that we were getting all like gassed up about, but apparently, my friends, it is. And then to round out really quick, we're going to be looking at this very interesting, ragey Reddit thread. If you've never been on r/Noctor, so Reddit's just basically a forum on the internet where people put their big feelings. And r/Noctor is one where this sub is intended as a repository of sources and a place of discussion regarding independent mid-level NP and PA practice. Basically a place where they go and put crappy things about NPs and PAs so that they can feel better. Physicians can feel better about themselves, that they're not in the same realm. And we'll go over this article because there's some really, really interesting comments. If you are watching here live today, welcome, welcome. Do let us know where you are listening from. If you're watching on the replay, hello, welcome. I don't know if there'll be timestamps on this one because it's just going to be kind of a chatty like review type of thing, but welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you could give this video a like, the YouTube gods love that. It tells them that you like this topic and everyone else should watch. So please go and do that. And massive, massive, massive congratulations to Rogue NP, who just passed their NP exam, officially an ARNP. Congratulations. You get to be called a provider now. Yes, you do. Huge congratulations. Everyone give her or him massive, your emoji looks like a lady. Well, whatever. Massive congratulatory confetti in the comment section. We also have Nurse Scott here. We have Mr. Midwife. That's Chad, for those of you who follow us on our panel discussions. Mama Nurse, hello, hello. And Chad, I do see all of your thoughts and I'm going to cover them. I will get to them, I promise. I think it's a good discussion. And Keisha, hello, hello. Jax Kelly is here from Pittsburgh. So we're like sort of neighbors. We're state neighbors. And yeah, all right, let us roll this intro and we will get discussing, I guess let's start with Chad's, actually, let's start with the article really quick and then we'll go to Chad's. That way I can stay on topic. Otherwise I go sideways and it falls apart. and I derail and we end up who even knows where. Speaking of which, my poison ivy is back. It's not nearly as bad as last time because I discovered I shouldn't put anything like calamine lotion, nothing that dries it out. Nothing, because that I think did not go well last time. So now I'm doing a very expensive CeraVe itch cream, but it doesn't relieve the itch, but I don't look like I have the bubonic plague, which is a positive. So here we are. Let us get rolling. Where's the rolling button? One day I need to get a stream deck. Okay. That is the true dream, a stream deck. You would all be so sick of me because I would have so many sound effects. Do we want a stream deck? Do we need a stream deck? Let me know. Okay, welcome to Late Night with Liz, where night shift has more fun. Boho, hello. We have, I also saw Nurse R&D hop in. Hello, hello. Thanks for being a channel member. I appreciate you. And let us pop. Oh, this is going to be good. Hello, Danielle Hobbs. I jumped into a live by accident. I'm so glad I'm here. The best. Welcome. What a happy accident. Let us start by... Can I do this? Probably before I get a stream deck, I should figure out how all my buttons work. Well, my computer buttons, that could be taken a different way. Let's just skip that. Let's just move right along. Where's the article? Here it is. Yes. Okay. Here we are. Okay. No, I don't want to do that. Thank you. So this article written by Diana Londoño, MD, physician, July 27th, 2022. We're just going to go through it because I thought it was very interesting and very dramatic, if we're being totally honest. It's a little bit extra. So your parents likely spent months searching through baby name books, polling the family, and looking through the photo albums of ancestors to pick the perfect names for you. I feel really bad because that's not how I picked my child's name. I picked Avery, as I didn't have an opinion on. Joe was like, I like the name Avery. I was like, that sounds fine. And with Piper's, I had like different patients named Piper, and I was like, oh, I really like that name. If I have a girl, I want to name her Piper. But I didn't name Avery that because I was sad. I had a lot of postpartum stuff. So that story went very dark very quickly, but that's how I picked my kids' names. There were no ancestors involved. Let me know how you named your children if you did, if you looked through baby name books. Anyway, and the photograph albums of ancestors to pick the perfect name. That's extreme. Maybe, but it was nice flowery language. Good job, Diana. Maybe your parents had to see your face before they could pick the perfect one. Names have history. They have power. And they embody your personality. So we know this is already going to be good because we are getting in there with all the details. Yes, very, very dramatic. Like very dramatic. My daughter was officially named Daniela, yet we call her Bimbi Months before she was born. Why are we learning this? That is her true name. It suits her. She is spunky. She is bubbly. She is powerful and she is beautiful. It was carefully chosen by my older daughter, Paloma. And when I was 5 months pregnant, when I declared proudly that we should name her Bimbi, we agreed and the rest is history. So that's a lot of words to say. I'm not even sure. As physicians, our title, which has been taken under the Hippocratic Oath, is equally powerful. Wow. It states how we will do no harm or injustice to patients. And if I carry out this oath, may I gain a reputation among all men for my life and my art forever. But if I break it or forswear myself, may the opposite befall me. Wow. Is that the Hippocratic Oath? That is hardcore. So if you break your oath or forswear it, those are fun words. I gain the reputation among all men for my life. So you gain a poor reputation forever. So clearly the title physician is very important to this person. But I do think we're overreacting a little bit. Also, Mama Nurse says the baby number 1 was named at the dinner table the night before I went to labor. Perfect. That is literally, Joe and I were on a walk when I was in labor. My water had broken. I guess my water broke. I wasn't in labor yet. We were walking, trying to make me go into labor. And that's when he was like, hey, do you like this name? He's like, I was listening to the song, like, hey, Avery, we're getting married. That song. And he's like, I like the name Avery. I was like, that's fine. Just get her out. Love. She asked me the other day, she's like, how did I get named? I'm like, let's not talk about it. She's like, did you think so hard about it? I was like, So hard, baby. So hard. Oh, your favorite nurse. Hello, hello. Thanks for being here. Rogan P. Hello. Oh, we already chatted. Rogan P. You already passed your boards. We're so proud of you. Keisha says, I looked up the meaning of names for my kids and named them that. My daughter's name means heavenly life, and my son names me gift from God because my kids are 13 years apart. That's awesome. So you went backwards. You're like meaning and then back. That's cool. That's very meaningful. I love that. Okay. So this person clearly very much into names. Already, we don't have a lot in common. Let's see if we can find anything else in common. Our title is powerful. It is important. I agree. It was given under an oath as we were cloaked in our ceremony to become physicians. Very into the power of imagery here. Yet our title has been slowly eroded through time. Wow. We are no longer called physicians. We are now providers. Wow. So big feelings. I would like to tell you, Diana, that I don't think anyone is trying to tell you, and you let me know in the comments, like, do you have, let me know what your thoughts are surrounding the term provider. Do you associate that with something super duper negative? I don't. I always thought, so this is just my opinion. I always thought when I hear the word provider, I think, oh, a provider is someone who can assess, diagnose, treat, interpret imaging, and order things, right? That would be physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, right? That would be the clump. And so if I wanted to talk to someone, if I'm calling an office and I'm saying, hi, I would like to talk to the provider for Cheryl provider, some whatever. And they would then put me through. I wouldn't say like anything else. I might get someone else because I like don't always necessarily want to talk to like the nurse. Sometimes I do. And then I would just be like, hey, can I talk to the nurse? But if I say provider, that's what I mean. And I don't know who I'm calling. I don't know if that person is their primary caretaker, like provider is a physician. I don't know if they're a nurse practitioner. I don't know if they're a PA. I don't want to say the wrong thing and be like, hey, can I talk to their physician? And then they're going to be like, oh, well, they actually see a nurse practitioner. I'm like, oh, that's totally great. Or like a PA or whatever. It's just so confusing and you just want to be like, hey, who's their provider? Like who is the one assessing, diagnosing, treating? Who is the person doing this? And to me, that's what provider denotes, right? I wouldn't go out and be like, hey, provider, what's her last name? Hi, provider Londoño. Like, no, I wouldn't do that. I would call her Dr. Londoño or whatever she would like to be called because we don't use provider as, hi, I'm provider Liz. It's no, hi, I'm Liz, your nurse practitioner. If you're a PA, most PAs, I think, would probably, at least the ones I know, say, hi, I'm so-and-so, your PA. That's fine. No one is, it's a group, Diana. I don't think that's what she's getting, but everyone else seems very confused after, especially watching Dr. Cellini's video and the Reddit thread we're going to see. There's a lot of confusion around this and people feel like we are attacking them. And I think it's a stupid way to get angry. And why can't we all just like, instead of having this incite violence among us, why can't we use our anger and direct it at the healthcare system? But no, the AMA, is involved in this apparently, as we'll find on Reddit, and the American Medical Association. They probably they don't even want to solve the hospital issue or the insurance issue. They just, I feel like, live to incite violence against nurses and nurse practitioners. Seriously, they're like, let's just fight with each other rather than fixing the system because we get paid buttloads from the insurance companies and the hospitals who lobby for us. So that's good. That's all great. Anyway, so she's very upset that they lost their title as physicians because no one will ever call them a doctor or a physician again now that the word provider exists. So that's a bummer. I was going to make a poll. Hang on. Please hold. I should have done this earlier. Bum, 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 bum. Where's my video? Let's see. While we're doing this, if you had anything exciting happen in your week so far, do let me know. If you have thoughts on provider things, like does it offend you? If you're a physician, please let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments and what your feelings are on this. Do you find the term physician to be evil? Question mark. All right. We have a poll. We have a poll. Let's see. Okay. Oh, now I'm hearing myself from somewhere else. Okay, go away. All right, I think I figured it out now. I think I figured it out. Okay, so there we are. There's a lot of angst. We have a poll going up if you want to participate. There is, oh, wow. This is a powerful tool to confuse and dehumanize a physician. You know what I mean? When I call offices and I'm like, hi, can I speak to the provider for so-and-so? That is my primary goal. It's not to gain information. That's not what I'm trying to do. I am like, how could I ruin a doctor's day? I know. I'm going to call him a provider. I promise you that has literally never crossed my mind. It's just something to save words. So I promise. When you no longer know who you are, you will be lost. I sincerely hope, Diana, sincerely, that if you don't forget that you are a physician and forget everything you learned in medical school, if someone calls you a provider and no longer calls you a physician one time, like I have concerns. I don't think that's how the brain works. And I'm worried that you think that's how it does. Think of someone with delirium or psychosis. Wow, we're going there. They can't even tell you their name. They are no longer oriented to names. Think about that for a moment. Diana, this is not happening. No, you think about it for a moment. When we do not know who we are as physicians, when we do not know or use our own title, that was anointed to us. Wow, I want to be anointed with a title. A little jealous there. When we assumed this role, we will be left confused, delirious, and lost without a sense of purpose. That makes me nervous. I really hope that, yikes, that if someone calls you provider, you aren't going to forget who you are and what your job is. Personally, I have not been called nurse practitioner Liz or referred to as a nurse practitioner in a while since I'm not working clinically, but I still remember that I did do that. And then I am that. So that's concerning. This has me more worried about maybe your mental health, Diana. I'm worried about you. Psychological erosion is sneaky. It is insidious and seems innocuous, but it is powerful. Wow. I agree. Psychological erosion is sneaky. It's a huge form of we play that on when we play gaslighting bingo, right? We have the chronic overtime wearing away at your soul, but I don't think people trying to call you provider is that. When you are confused about who you are, but why are you confused? You should know who you are. How can you honor who you are? Well, you just keep doing your job and you kind of don't give a crap about what other people call you because at the end of the day, does it matter? This seems like a big ego thing. I could care less. When people call me, hey, you, Liz, nurse, whatever, I could care less because I'm not there. If I wanted a fancy title, I would not have gone into healthcare. Okay, let's just leave it at that. How can you be a healer and an advocate for your patient and a teacher? You just do. You just do it. You don't care. If you don't know who you are and where you are going, how will you get there? I feel like Diana's having an existential crisis and she's targeting it on a really weird thing. She got assigned to write a paper on this. Maybe her editor was like, can you write a thing about how the AMA were pissed that it's called providers, not physicians sometimes in group settings? And she was like, in the middle of a midlife crisis. And she's like, oh yes. And all of her feelings are going into this. This is an important time to rise up, come together and understand that this is our time to remove the confusing veil put on us. Okay. We are not delirious. I'm really glad. We are not psychotic. I don't remember saying that you were. We are physicians. Good. I'm very glad you're not psychotic or delusional. If you are feeling that way, please do seek medical attention and do not take care of patients until that feeling resolves. We are the ones who took an oath to benefit patients according to our extraordinary ability and judgment to keep pure and holy both our lives and our art. And I don't think anyone's fighting on you. Doctors, physicians go to a lot of school. We are not the same as you. I don't think most nurse practitioners, I would think, and physician assistants would admit, there's always going to be the crazy ones who are like, I'm just as good as you. But most of us, I would say, would agree that, let me know if you vibe with this, that we are not physicians. We went to a lot less school. I can do what I always say is in primary care, I can do about 70 to 80% of the job really, really well. Primary care is a lot of education, a lot of like bread and butter things. We refer out for other things. And then every now and then there's those things that like I just can't nail down. And at 20 to 30% of real internal medicine, like this is really complicated. We have like all sorts of kidney failure with like all sorts of other heart failure, like everything's overlapping. And I'm like, I'm going to tap out and I'm going to need help. Yeah, I didn't, that's where residency and all those years really, really benefit you because you've seen so much. So yes, like we are not the same. Physicians go through a lot more training, and it drives me absolutely nuts when nurse practitioners try to compare themselves to physicians and say like, we're the same. Like I can do your exact job. We can't. And I don't think most of us are fighting about that. I think that's where there's a lot of miscommunication. I feel like physicians feel like every nurse practitioner, there's a vocal minority who's like, I'm just as good as you. And they're crazy. Okay. If it's you, I'm sorry. But just reconsider. But most of us don't associate with those people. Okay. Like by the time you've been in your career, yes, I think nurse practitioners can be like, once you've been in the career and you've been doing it like more and more and more, I probably bet the playing field, at 25 years, whatever, 20, it levels out and you can have a lot of the similar knowledge, but out of the gate from school, absolutely physicians know a heck of a lot more because they went to a whole heck of a lot more school. But that does not diminish nurse practitioners and PAs from being able to do what they do really, really well. Anyway, that soapbox. I'm just saying I'm not confused about who you are, physicians and Diana writing this article. I'm not confused. I hope you're not confused. We're not trying to, what did they say? Erode your oath. It is time to take back belongs to us. It is ours. It is time to rise and start the revolution. Again, we could be fighting a revolution against healthcare and against insurance companies who wake up every day and decide to be the villain and make money off of people who are sick. They were like, that's a great business. Let's go into it. Yay, capitalism. Our title will not be taken away. No one's taking it from you, Diana. No one is taking it from you. Provider is a group term when referring to an unknown group of people who can assess, diagnose, and treat. You would never accept being called Laura when your name is Sarah. No, but we're not. Our title has power. It has healers. It is our healer's birthright. This person is really into titles. Start the revolution. It starts with your title. Reclaim your power. My name is Diana Londoño, and I am a physician, not a provider. Diana Londoño is a urologist and can be reached at Twitter. Ooh, let's find her Twitter. Where are you? Life coach, physician coach support, physician, not a provider. Let me share this with you. We'll look at Diana's Twitter together. Let me see. I feel like Diana needs some Zoloft. I'll share some with you, Diana, if you need it. One of 0.5 urologists in the US who is female and Latinx. Good for you. Urology is a pretty competitive specialty and there are not enough ladies in it. So go you. Views are my own. I'm glad. But yeah, okay. So I was going to try to find where she works. I guess it doesn't really matter. But yeah, wow. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh, City of Hope, Los Angeles, urology. Okay, City of Hope. So if you would like to see a physician, not a provider, a physician in urology, City of Hope, Diana Londoño. A lady, which there really do need to be more ladies in urology. It's very, very competitive. And congratulations to you for doing the thing. Okay, well, good. Good. Okay. Let's regroup. let's regroup and we'll check some comments and then we will move on to the next section. And again, if you want to see, I'm not going to be breaking it down here because I thought it was going to get too long, but if you want to see my reaction step by step to what Dr. Cellini said, members, I'll be doing a member stream tomorrow, reviewing it and just kind of going through it and how I was like genuinely a little shocked and a little bit sad that he had a lot of the feelings that he did. Because like I said, we usually like agree on a lot of stuff and he was kind of getting into like he was kind of getting upset about it too. Rogue MP said NPs have spent years specializing in people and how to care for those who are sick. Our focus is more holistic, less nuanced. I even have a lot of opinions about that, to be honest, Rogue MP. I think a lot of like doctors and physicians now are also focusing on holistic things. Personally, and this can be a whole different conversation for a different day. I think the whole like, oh, nurses and nurse practitioners focus on holistic versus physicians who focus on like one targeted thing. I think that's outdated. And I think it's something we've been saying for a long time. But looking at medical education, I'm very involved in that now with my job and nursing education. There's not a huge difference, to be totally honest. People who are physicians who are coming out of school now, they have a huge focus on like overall. It's much less disease focused, it's much more overall. But historically we've always said like, oh, nursing is the whole person, but really the lines are very blurred there now. They at least I think. No one has to agree with me. Yeah, Boho said, "Oh my gosh, her choice of words is pearl clutching." That's a perfect description. And Rogue MP, I totally agree. We need to know what we're good at and work together to provide the best care at the top of our scope for those who need us. Exactly. I think nurse practitioners are incredibly capable when they are appropriately trained, and you really have to like do a lot of self like learning, to be honest, as a nurse practitioner. And like, because a lot of the schools are total crap, which is sad. But yeah, I think we're really good at what we do. It doesn't diminish us when, like admitting that someone else has had a lot more education doesn't diminish nurse practitioners. You know what I mean? I think we can both just be, we can both be good, and that's okay. Danielle Hobbs said, wow, I'm waiting for a dramatic interpretive dance after that reading. I know, right? Like, I need something. I feel a little bit, yes. Yes, something needs to happen there. Okay, let's go back and look. So at the very beginning, Chad, Mr. Midwife said, he had thoughts, so we'll go through them real quick. Chad is a frequent on our channel. If you follow our panel discussions, we appreciate him. He is a midwife, and he just started a channel. And I don't know if you have videos on it yet, but go find him. I will link him below after. I'll link all of our normal panel members because you're the bomb. And a lot of you are here tonight, and I appreciate you. Mr. Midwife said, I am a provider, but I'm not a physician. Exactly. That's how I would like. I would never be like, if someone was like, oh, what do you do? I wouldn't be like, I'm a provider. I'd be like, oh, I'm a nurse practitioner. However, I would also not be offended if someone came in and when like the drug reps come in, they say, hey, I have a lunch for the provider. Like I need to talk to a provider, like, so we can sign the thing and hear the spiel. I don't think it's offensive. I think it just literally means what we described earlier. There needs to be a distinction. Exactly. And I think it's a subgroup, like it's a heading. You know what I mean? This is like, I don't even know, like, I don't know. Like this is a heading, and then we have subgroups. But if you're referring to a whole group of people, this is where we are. I am a duck, not a bird. Exactly. This is thank you. Thank you for giving my further distinction, Scott. Because I was like, what is a subgroup? I was thinking like students. I was like, could you divide them by grade, like elementary school students? And don't you dare, I'm a sixth grader. I'm not an elementary school student. Like, if your elementary school goes to sixth grade, but a bird and a duck. I like that better. Yes, they're basically a duck, and they're getting mad when you say, oh, it's a bird. Like, I would like to be referred to as my specific genus and species. Thank you. Stupid thing to get mad about. Okay, stupid thing to get mad about. All right, let's all get mad at other things and just stop wasting all of our energy fighting. Mr. Midway said, I'm pretty damn smart, but my doctor is smarter. He deserves that recommendation. I don't necessarily like the term doctor. I prefer physician. I usually use physician as well because I find that since many people in the healthcare team can be, you have pharmacists who are doctors. You have some nurse practitioners have their doctorate. You have, physical therapists have their doctorate. Some PAs now have their doctorate. Like, I prefer the term physician to try to create that differentiation. But I know most patients call theirs doctor. And I would push back. I think they probably are like trained more. They have more knowledge. But I think we're just as smart. We just haven't learned as much. Or maybe you have, but that would be my thing. I don't think that we're not as smart necessarily because we have the ability. Like, I think I could have gone to med school. You know what I mean? I would have like they would have sucked the life out of me and I wouldn't be able to have the life I want now with like in terms of balance. I did a whole video on why I didn't end up going to med school because I'm interested in healthcare, but I don't want it to be my like life. But I could have gone. And I think that's often a misconception too, is like with advanced practice, like nurse practitioners or PAs, like, oh, you weren't smart enough to go to med school. And it's like, no, like this is what I wanted to do. Nurses too, all the time. People are like, oh, you became a nurse because you couldn't become a doctor. We were smart enough to go. I would say we were smart enough not to go, but no shade, no shade. Or I'm very glad there are people who go to med school and become physicians, but they do know a lot more than us. You know what I mean? Because they went to school forever. In my professional life, I am not Chad. I am Mr. Last Name. I think there needs to be that one level of distance. I'm your healthcare provider, not your friend. Yeah, I think I have a lot to say. Hi, all, Mr. Midwinter. Liz, your thoughts? Those are my thoughts, Chad. Any other thoughts? Feel free to share them. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think we do need a differentiation. I think there are a lot of, exactly, a doctorate is a level of schooling, not the job title. And that gets confused a lot in healthcare. I think that's a whole different discussion of if you think, there's like the whole, like, should you introduce yourself as doctor if you have your doctorate? You know what I mean? So I am very much for just, I'm a physician. What is your actual, like, kind of certification, I suppose, right? Not your level. I wouldn't go in and see that. But yes, Fitzby says, an umbrella term like saying medical professionals. Yes, that's pretty much what provider is, but they get their panties in a bunch. Yikers. So that's where we are. We'll have that conversation one day. I don't have my doctorate, so I'm always afraid to touch the conversation of should nurse practitioners call themselves doctors in a medical setting. I'm very aware that they absolutely could because they hold a doctorate. My personal opinion, and this is probably going to get people mad, I think patients are already confused about nurse practitioners, and this is off topic, and we'll go back to reviewing the very interesting Reddit thread just to get ourselves angry in a minute. But I think, let me know in the comments, do you think if you were a nurse practitioner and you have your doctorate, should you or do you call yourself doctor in a setting with patients? Now, this is not talking about in an academic setting or anything like that. This is just in a interactions with patients. I think it's confusing because I think patients really don't listen to 90% of what comes out of my mouth. Most of the time, maybe they listen to everything you say, but I have found that patients typically don't listen to most of the things I say and most of the things other people say, like other healthcare professionals, other healthcare providers, just to roast the buns of all the doctors out there, what they say. I think they hear like the first thing out of your mouth, which is I'm doctor. And I think it is misleading to patients if you introduce yourself as doctor, even though you very much have earned that title. I think the purpose of titles in introducing yourself in the healthcare setting is to help the patient figure out who the heck you are. So when you come forward and say doctor, most people, as patients who are not within the system, all they know is, oh, they said doctor, they're my doctor. I have seen this lead into a whole lot of issues personally, where then the person later found out, the person said, hi, I'm Dr. So-and-so, your nurse practitioner. They did not hear the nurse practitioner part because, like I said, they hear like the first one word. And then later they found out that they were not a physician and they were furious. And it led to a lot of things. This has happened many, many times in my career, enough that I saw it. And I was like, even if I one day get my doctorate, which I want, I don't think. The only reason I would get my doctorate is so that I could write on my mail, doctor and Mr. and then our last name, because that seems like solid. And that's my opinion. I think it's confusing. I think you could have it on your coat. I think you could have it on your badge under nurse practitioner, but that's my opinion. Let me know what yours is. People all like, I totally get why people are like, oh, I earned that, I should be able to call myself that. But I think at the end of the day, in my opinion, the point of introducing yourself is not to list your resume or fluff your own feathers, or it's not about you. It's about who you're introducing yourself to. And it's very confusing because most patients don't know. They're like, I don't know how this goes. Milk said, Liz, how do you normally introduce yourself to patients? Hi, I'm Liz. I'm a family nurse practitioner, work Usually when I was at the office I was at, I said, I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I work with Dr. So and so, who I used to work with. And then I would go forth and we would have our conversation. But that's how I always have introduced myself as I'm Liz. I am a family nurse practitioner or a nurse practitioner. And if I had my doctorate, that would not change. On my thing, it might say doctor. If I got my if I got my doctorate in nursing, I could be doctor last name. I just think it's so confusing for patients who have absolutely no idea what a nurse practitioner is. And then you combine the word doctor and it just gets them so much more confusing. Mr. Windpipe says, unless you're a physician in the hospital, you're not a doctor. Exactly. Which stinks. Like, and I totally get that. And like, you earned it. You should be able to call yourself that in an academic setting. Go for it. On your door, go for it. But patients, like I said, it's just not clear. And in the perfect world, everyone would know what everyone is, but that's just not true. And it's even more confusing because like in the hospital, which this article and Dr. Shalini had gone on to say, like everyone's wearing a white coat. I saw a lot of comments. I was reading the comments of his video and it was all like people like, nurse practitioners shouldn't even be allowed to wear coats, like blah, blah, blah. It's so confusing. And I honestly, I agree. I think healthcare is incredibly confusing. We do not present ourselves well, in terms of like delineating who is who. When I worked at my hospital as a nurse on night shift, everyone was in like random, no, there was no uniform. You could wear whatever scrubs you wanted. The, residents and the physicians were wearing like scrubs and a t-shirt. That's what the nurses were wearing. Some people had on a coat, some people didn't. But a lot of different roles would wear a coat. So like we had a phlebotomist who wore a coat. We had some of the random like the house manager who wandered around who was a nurse wore a coat. So it was just very, 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 very confusing for patients. And they always said that. They're like, I have no idea who is who. I'm like, I know. So I think it's just to make it more clear. Stephanie C said, that's how I introduce myself as well. I think it's just generally helpful. Teresa Madison said, clarity to the general public and patients is the priority. Exactly. This is not about your ego. And I think that's what got me so annoyed about this article was like, you're spending all of this rage on this when like at the end, like who cares at the end of the day? You know what I mean? The idea is just to have like the patients will never hear you being called a provider. This is just an ego thing. You know what I mean? Because to the patients, you would also introduce yourself to as, hi, I am Dr. So-and-so. You could say, I'm Dr. So-and-so, your physician, but really, honestly, they probably just say I'm Dr. So-and-so because in our healthcare systems, at least in the US, it is almost like patients understand it that you said, doctor, you're my physician, right? That's just the way, that is the vernacular that they have. And like Judy Doom says, I agree that even if you have your doctorate as an NP, introducing yourself as a doctor in a medical setting can be confusing for patients. Yeah. And it's all comes back to like, honestly, it comes back to that. How is it helpful? Like, how do you identify yourself? That's why another pet peeve is when someone lists like every letter in the entire world instead of saying, so at our hospital, you could pick what came after your name or under your name. So mine was like Liz and then my last name and then RN, because I was like, I don't care if anyone knows I have my bachelor's, but and then like under that, you could put, like BSN, RN, or like whatever it was. And it like drove me crazy when people just put their alphabet soup instead of just like on the tag, then like nurse. They would like, cause then you could put you could just put nurse. And that's what I put. I was like nurse. Some people put like, registered nurse. Okay, sure. That's fine. Some people just put all their letters. I'm like, patients have no idea. Scott, this is you. AAMB. I'm like, they don't know. I'm like, this is not your resume, friend. This is your identifier. It's supposed to be so simple so that your patient who does have psychosis and does have dementia and is experiencing the thing that apparently physicians are worried about, that if we call them providers, that they will develop into this declining mental state. A lot of the patients have declining mental state and they just need very simple nurse, physician, doctor, resident, simplify it. Michael Paz says, I work in a skilled nursing facility and we can wear any color. I remember being new at the facility and they thought I was a doctor for wearing my white scrubs for my CNA program. Obviously, I made it clear. Yeah. Like all the time. Like there's a lot of confusion about who everyone is. We've talked before on this channel about how when we did the um video about where we interviewed the dude nurses, they said all the time they got like people address them as doctor, because we just don't differentiate our looks very much. And I think we could really improve on that. I know everyone poo-poos uniforms and like, but having worked in some hospitals where like phlebotomists wear red, which I liked. Nurses wear blue. CNAs and techs wear green. Da 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 da. It made it very helpful. I would just make a color coded chart for like the wall. And we can go there. Let me see. Keisha says teaching till enough people get it. And that we can agree to disagree. Love you all. Yeah, we can agree to disagree on that one. I think all the teaching in the world won't do a difference. And at the end of the day, who cares? for me, because it's not about me, it's about them. Do RNs lose their identity? Judy Doom says, do RNs lose their identity because LPNs are also called nurses? Maybe we are. Maybe we need to, I guess, clutch our pearls. But then again, who cares? Because we are all nurses. And maybe this is just showing that this is why we're bigger people than physicians. And not all of you. If any of you are physicians, we love you. We're glad you exist. This is just yikes. They're being very sensitive. Okay, let us look. Are you ready? Are you ready for the Reddit thread? Are you ready? And yes, LPNs are absolutely nurses. Estelle, yes. N in LPN means nurse. Yes, LPNs are nurses. I wasn't saying no. I was just being facetious there. I was trying to channel Diana. I think LPNs are very much nurses. Incredibly glad that you are here. We're fine. We're cool. Very cool. Sorry if it came off the other way. I'm tired and my sarcasm sometimes doesn't work when I'm tired. Okay, let's look at the Reddit thread just to get ourselves angry. Hi, Nurse Adrian. Hello. Mama Nurse says, no, LPNs are nurses, so that doesn't bother me. Exactly. But apparently we can't be all providers with one specifier. That's not allowed. That will make us forget who we are. Instant dementia. The worst. Let me see. Okay. Deep breaths. Okay. So this thread, don't go on this if you're just like feeling grumpy. Basically, we're just going to read a couple of the comments and then we can have an early night. Can the AMA, can we /AMA, AMA is American Medical Association. They are the devil. Please turn this into a lapel pin or badge reel decal that we can all wear prominently. Physician, not provider. Why? Like, why? That is the definition of waking up and choosing to be the villain. Words matter. To our administrators, payers, and patients, this simple national messaging strategy will send a clear signal that doctors are not going to be pushed around. Who is pushing you around, friend? Who is telling you you can't be called doctor or physician? Friend, who hurt you? Residency. I know residency hurt you. I know. We need to make provider an offensive and socially unacceptable term to call a physician. It's a generalization for a group. It's not your individual title. Oh, truth triumphs. I worry for you. What does the word provider even mean? And how do we accept this stupid label? That's what they were saying in all the videos that I was watching. They're like, what does provider even mean? Am I a provider? Are you a provider? What do I provide? I was like, I know you're smart. I know you're smart. Please act like it. I understand clinician, but provider is just a way to level the playing field for doctors. So like not doctors, doctors, that's nurse practitioners and PAs. Clinician then, like, I feel like if we said clinician, provider just makes more sense. I think it involves clinician makes it sound like you're gonna, I don't know, like chop people up. That, I don't know. Valium. She needs Valium. Yeah. This rant brought to you by a clinic meeting I had today where I heard administrators use the word provider 200 times. because in that meeting, then they didn't have to say every time, hey, for our physicians, nurse practitioners, and PAs, they could just say, hey, for our providers, because all physicians, nurse practitioners, and PAs diagnose, assess, and treat. And that is a clump of people who can do the same type of billing in general. So, like, usually in an office, when we're referring to a group of people, we'll have our healthcare providers, and then we have our nurses, and then our respiratory therapists, and our pharmacists, and our physical therapists, and our therapists, and they all make up this wonderful, beautiful team. But it's easier to specify sometimes. Okay. P.S. AutoMod working on overtime with this for all the uses of the words provider. Okay, so this is like the AutoMod. So this is whatever they wanted it, sticky comment. We do not support the use of the word provider. Use of the term provider in healthcare originated in government and insurance sectors to designate healthcare delivery organizations. Exactly. They said, I'm really tired of typing out all these words, so we're just going to shorten it. And then individually, we will call people who they are. They'll call them ducks, but we're just going to call them birds for now because it's easier. And it involves less typing. And most of the time, everyone likes less typing and less charting, but apparently not anymore. The term is born out of insurance reimbursement policies. Who cares where it is born from? It's a good idea. Okay. It lacks specificity and serves to obfuscate. I'm not apparently smart enough to be a doctor because that's, I don't know, whatever. I would imagine it made me to like make obsolete, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Exactly who is taking care of the patients. No, dum-dum. No, it's a general term used in group settings like at your office meeting or by insurance companies. For more information, please see this JAMA article. No, not today. We encourage you to use physician, mid-level, or licensed title, example, nurse practitioner, rather than meaningless terms like APP. So like provider or APP. APP is advanced practice personnel. That is nurse practitioners and PAs. Wouldn't it just be easier to say provider? And then when we have, if we want to only specify physicians, we will. So a lot of things, in case you're unclear, from insurance companies will say, hey, providers can do this. And they are very clear. If there's something that only a physician can do, because there are lots of things and that through insurance companies, only a physician can do, it will say physician required if it wants the physician to just do it. So I promise you, they have not forgotten you who you are. They're just trying to type less words. And then when they want to specify you and give you your little gold star and your gold crown because you went to school for 8 billion years and know a whole heck of a lot, they will specify you by name. I promise. Information on truth in advertising can be found here. There is good, we're not going to go there. There was an attempt to formally refer to us as care navigators in pharmacy. That was absurd. Yeah, that is absurd. That's why we didn't go with it. We went with providers because it made more sense. Also, it is time to unionize. I agree, no zookeeper. I agree. I'm a unionized faculty at a medical school. And let me tell you, the medical school has not dared to call us providers because as bad as administrators are, not even our medical school administrators will risk that argument. Is this pervasive? That like you need a union? Like, so nursing unions, let's just take a discussion for a moment. So nursing unions are fighting for like safe patient ratios, right? We've talked a lot about nursing unions recently. We're going to be talking about them more this week because there's another strike going on with like Kaiser. And nursing unions want like safer patient ratios, things to protect them from getting like shot at work, like, metal detectors. We will also be doing a stream to kind of wrap up the Minnesota strike situation. But so that's what nurses are fighting for with unions, is getting paid decently and having safer patient ratios so patients do better, and just having a decent working environment. And the physicians want to unionize so that they will no longer be called providers. So did you correct them? So this is talking about the meeting where they said providers a million times. I did. It was awkward. It will be more effective coming from a national marketing campaign like physician, not provider badge. It's amazing how healthcare has casually accepted the notions that doctors are just providers. Translation, replaceable worker bees, and not actual leaders of healthcare teams. It's why everyone rides roughshod over us lately and we're just rolling over. you're not like anyone's leader. And this I think I hate. So like, and I think a lot of people do have this mentality like a physician and a nurse practitioner or a PA are like, you're on a team, my dude or my lady. Like you are not, unless you are my boss and I work for you, we are on a team and you are not like the leader. You're the person who maybe if you live in a non-independent state for nurse practitioners, like you're collaborating, but that doesn't mean like I still do what I want and practice under my license. You know what I mean? Like you don't own me. Okay. The provider bot is going to have a stroke here soon. So basically, anytime someone says provider, the auto mod comes through with this thing that we already read. Can we start referring to management as cubicle jockeys to simplify our lives? I agree with you. Now, I like you, Dr. Sisyphus. My one of our oncologist surgeons calls them clipboard people. I like that. The term provider is meant to deceive patients into receiving crappy care. Miss me with that crap. My school uses physicians in APP now. I'm quite elated at them making a clear distinction, finally. Are we that bad that we can't even be in the same clump? Like, why are we fighting about this? The provider needs to become a bad word. There's a lot of other things I would like to make a bad word, like for-profit healthcare. I hate it. Baby steps, but APP is also a crappy term because it still includes provider in the title. What is advanced practice about PAs and NPs? What are they advanced from? They actually have arguably the most limited practice of the providers. You could say NPs are advanced from nurses, but then they don't want to be associated with nurses or go by nursing titles. PAs don't really have anything below them. Neither do CRNAs or midwives. So what makes them advanced? Well, because you have more practice abilities than a nurse. Or what do you want from us? What do you want from us? Maybe LPM for limited practice mid-level would be more suitable. But then again, they could just simplify that to mid-level. Oh, wait. There is a lot of rife about mid-level. I truly don't care. To be totally honest, also a hot take. I know a lot of people do. I could care less what you call me. It's not going to affect my job. Whatever you would like. Mid-level, okay. Could we find probably a term that's a little bit more flattering? Sure. Do I find my personal satisfaction and pride in what you call me as a group mid-level? No, I could care less. You want to call me that? Great. People have called nurse practitioners a lot worse. People have called me a lot worse to my face, trying to insult me. And I found, honestly, if you don't get riled, they stop. The best way, and you fighting about what people term you, in my opinion, will never get you respect. I think to be totally like the hissy fit that a lot of nurse practitioners and PAs have thrown over the term mid-level has only made it worse, because if we had just let it go and been like, all right, whatever, like I'm just going to prove to you that I am good at what I do and I'm capable and I'm good at my job. I'm safe at my job. That's the only way you're going to get people to like trust you and respect you. But we've fought about names forever because this is healthcare. And especially in nursing, we love to fight about names. And this is where it gets us. And then now they're trying to be like, well, I don't like that name for you. And it's just like tit for tat here, to be totally honest. So I wish we didn't fight so hard on the mid-level practice, because who cares? Who really cares? Who cares? The worst part is trying to say this on Med Twitter. They will gaslight you saying it's not an issue. Oh, go Med Twitter. Way to go. Med Twitter, the fifth circle of hell. I've noticed in meetings there seems to be a purposeful change in vocabulary to change identities, and really bothers me. I am a doctor. How do I push back? You go to therapy, my dude, citizen surgeon. A lot of you sound like you just need therapy because a lot of your identity is tied up in what other people call you. And I think we need to work on your self-confidence and your self-esteem, okay? In meetings, I make sure to refer to all my physicians' colleagues, even as doctor, even if I usually call them by their first name. Good for you. I have no issue with calling people what they would like to be called. You want me to call you Dr. So-and-so? I usually, with physicians, I default to Dr. So-and-so, right? If I am interacting with other nurse practitioners who I know have their doctorate, I will even default to that and then give them the chance if they want to be, because some of them want that. And some of them are going to be like, hey, just call me Melinda. And I'll be like, okay, Melinda. A lot of physicians will then be like, hey, you can just call me like Susan. I'm like, all right, great, Susan. I show that first. So it's not like what? No one is taking that away from you. I wear my white coat. Good for you. They're very sweaty and hot and they make you have really bad BO. So, but good for you. I'm rounding with residents, and I find they scare patients, but my opinion. I work outpatient, so it's different. If I'm rounding with residents, I refer to them as doctor, as you should, in front of nurses and patients, as you should, as nurses and patients probably should just say, hey, Dr. So-and-so, until the person says, hey, you can just call me this. Like, because I would call a pharmacist Dr. So-and-so. I would call your physical therapist Dr. So-and-so. I will use their title in front of other people. Like, physicians have to lead from the front. Be proud. We're all on the same team, my dude. You don't have to lead from the front. This is like a group search. Here's the problem. Admin and professional organizations have enabled doctors to co-opt our identity as physicians. We don't want to be you. We purposefully chose not to be you. Most of us. We don't want to be physicians. We don't want to be physicians. NPs call themselves and each other's doctors, social workers wear white coats. PAs have a white coat ceremony. The way for physicians to fight back and make it clear difference is to loudly reject the gaslighting. Wow. We need to make it clear, something as simple as a badge saying physician, not provider, that we all wear a power counter messaging tool. Because that won't send weird vibes to patients. Like, I didn't go to provider school. I went to medical school. I'm considering referring to everyone in admin as email writers if they keep it up and see how they like it. Okay. Well. Where can I sign the pro-physician leadership petition? I'm an RN and I can't stand useless admin. COVID made it clear. Oh, that doesn't have anything to do with this. Oh, see, this is, and then it even says like this person's like, oh, I hate the admin. Like I hate admin and like all this waste. And they said, thank you. We as the actual clinicians, doctors and nurses need to take back control of our workplace from these parasitic administrators and insurance companies. So why are you wasting your time doing this? And then someone else said, I'm very open. I always say NP and will correct patients. I'm proud of what I do and I like complete transparency. I even dictate in front of them to make sure they hear what I'm hearing is correct. Patients really love it. That's great. No one is taking that away from you. And I don't understand this because literally no one is taking that away from you. I'm not a healthcare provider. I'm a healthcare clinician. Oh my gosh. Finally, someone. I find myself using provider a lot as I work at an urgent care comprised of mostly PAs and MPs with some MDs and DOs. So it's an easy way to group everyone together, but I've always thought it sounded cringy and it definitely throws patients off as they usually respond. So a doctor, right? But from here on out, I'll be using full titles or clinicians if I must. Does this bother anyone else? I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I think it's a stupid thing that we're fighting about. And we could certainly fight about something better. Okay, well, that's that. Thanks, Nurse Adrienne. Yes, hit the like and subscribe button, or at least like the video. That tells other people that they should also watch this angry rant where I realize that a lot of people, we just need therapy. I think a lot of healthcare people need therapy. That weird science guy, thoughts on DNP, prepared nurse practitioners, introducing themselves to patients as doctor. We talked about that a little while ago. I don't like it. I think it's confusing for patients. But Keisha thinks it's good. So we have differing opinions. We're allowed to have differing opinions. But you can go back a couple minutes and hear my whole spiel on that. Abby says, I personally want to be called an NP and not a provider. And I completely agree. Like, if you're referring to me individually, I'm talking about like the term provider of just being like the group, because otherwise you're saying way too many words and it's a hot mess. But again, you can disagree. That's totally fine. We are a disagreement zone where that is totally fine. Totally fine. That one guy said also totally watching the stream, and I totally not replying to the comments I'm reading. I'm not just replying to comments I'm reading. Perfect. Well, it doesn't matter. As long as it's going on your screen, we get watch time and we like watch time. So it's fine. Watch it on replay, go to bed. It's fine. You guys are talking, it sounds like, about the differences throughout the country. So for sure, you can go and watch you can scroll back, and I always leave the chat on. So if you're watching this not live, you can read the comments. I highly encourage you to do that. I go back after my own lives and I watch the comments, because then I can actually see them and see what conversations we're having. And it's beautiful. Keisha said, these articles and comments scream insecurity. For real. The mature physicians love and admire NPs. Agreed. I have had more positive interactions with physicians in real life than negative ones as a nurse practitioner. There's a lot of keyboard warriors out there who clearly are very insecure and need some serious therapy because they think they're going to forget their whole job if someone doesn't refer to, like, that really does just scream huge insecurity of like, I need you to validate me constantly by my title. Who cares? Who cares what you call me? You know what I mean? I don't get my validation from a title. Maybe that's just me. And if you gain your validation from a title, that's totally fine. Totally fine. You do you, boo. And yes. Okay. I think those are all my thoughts. Like I said, tomorrow, oh, look, we have good comments. That second opinion starred. Thank you. I think Boho said, I think she just wants to separate. This is Diana, the person who wrote the article. She wants to separate herself from a physician from other providers. Exactly. She just wants everyone to spell it out. Nurse Scott says the Hippocratic Oath doesn't actually name the oath taker as a physician. It says, I swear by Apollo, the physician. Good to know. So we can all take the Hippocratic Oath. I did not take an oath. If you work in healthcare, did you take an oath? I just got a pin. Maybe you took an oath and I wasn't paying attention. That could be very likely. Very likely. Yikes. In my opinion, provider is the Earth Angel said, in my opinion, provider is the corporate follower of protocol. According to a business model, a physician has an honorable ethical commitment to the patient, not the company. For a follower of protocol. Interesting delineation. Sapphire Blue said, I never say provider Smith. I use provider notified or ordered. Exactly. In charting only, and would address a doctor using Dr. Smith in verbal conversations. Exactly. This is a really good point. In my charting, I would say provider notified, saying like, I told whoever is in charge of acknowledging orders, reviewing documents on this team. If it was a specific someone that I wanted to mention, I would use their actual name. Or I would say, I told, like, if I wanted to be very specific. But yeah, provider is just a generic term for someone who, when I don't need to refer to as a specific, someone who can assess, diagnose, and treat, interpret lab results, and order things. Tamara said, maybe people should put all this energy arguing about names into patient care. Please. That's the whole point I wanted to get away with today, was just, why are you being a whiny baby? And go to therapy. And please just reflect on it a little bit and be like, maybe I could use this rage. Maybe it's, maybe I'm spending all this energy in the wrong way. I didn't get my NP for the title or to be, this is Rogan P. I didn't get my NP for the title or to be equal to a physician. I did it to provide a higher level of care for my patients. And I don't always feel cared for who don't always feel cared for by their physicians. There you go. If you're not finding validation in your actual title, then here we go. Nurse Adrian RN says, nobody takes an oath, the real Hippocratic Oath, at least. Half of us boycotted our pinning because of cost, and Nightingale is a racist and we weren't about it. Here. I was not that aware of anything when I went to nursing school. To be totally honest, I was probably like, yay, Florence Nightingale. And now I'm like, oh, yikes. But that was good. I didn't go to my nursing school graduation. I did go to my pinning because I had a cute skirt and my mom was a nurse and she got to pin me. So it was like a cute moment. But I don't remember any of it. And I didn't go to my graduation. I was like, this is fine. Nurse Adrian said, we all know doctors are all about hierarchy and it's classist. I would even say that most healthcare is about hierarchy and is super classist. Nursing especially. Nursing loves their letters. They love their alphabet soup. They love fighting about how, well, you're an LPN and you're an ADN and you're an RN and I'm this. Like, waste of life. Waste of absolute life. We can get so much more done, but shockingly, if we keep fighting with each other, we won't have any energy to fight anyone else. So who do you think is really fueling this? Who do you think? The American Medical Association certainly benefits from nurses fighting with each other. And if you don't think they're helping to fuel that and put little fires out there and pitting people against each other, you're wrong. If they don't, you don't think the American Medical Association, like you just saw, that is a sponsored, like by the American Medical Association. If you don't think that they are pitting physicians against nurses and nurse practitioners so that we fight amongst ourselves instead of fighting the system that is putting money back in their pocket, please, please look, because that's what's happening here. And we need to stop that, realize that we all really end up at the end of the day wanting the same thing. I would probably say that we could probably get most physicians to be like, okay, I'm going to stop raging about the word provider and let's rage against something better. There's always going to be these internet crazies. There's always going to be the Dianas who just are very attached to their feelings. But, I think if we all banded together, we could really do some cool things. So I hope eventually a physician watches this and stays and doesn't go leave. And maybe we can all fight together. Maybe. Nurse Adrian said, yes, there's a lot of classism in letters and it's absurd because as RNs, we have the same board, which is rather unfortunate. For in peace. Yeah, nursing is a total classist hot mess. A lot of healthcare is, and it's sad. Let me see. Keisha said, I love all my healthcare peeps. Agreed. We're a good bunch. We love all of our non-healthcare peeps too. I found last stream, like a decent chunk of people aren't healthcare people. And that's awesome. It's my dream. I'm like, I just want we're trying to burst the bubble here, people. Let me see. Rogan P said, best preceptor I ever had was an LPN. He taught me to swim in an environment full of sharks, how to think on my feet where there were no supplies or power to the hospital. True story. He was amazing. Agreed. LPNs literally taught me how to do my first job in med surg. And then they had worked there for decades. I worked there for 6 weeks when I was then in doing assessment. I had to chart on their assessments. This is so stupid. They literally were my preceptors and taught me how to do my job. And now I have to sign off on their assessments. Stupid. Stupid. All right, friends. Let's do 4 minutes of random Q&A. It's probably one question because I'm long-winded. And then we'll sign off for the night. I need water. I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear my drinking sounds. Tanya Shaw says Florence Nightingale followed her social practices of her era. While that does not make it right, it does not erase all that she did to contribute. She did contribute, but other people have contributed a lot more, in my opinion. We just don't learn about it because they aren't. They're a little bit more melanated, if you know what I mean, or they were working in situations that were not as high profile. Florence Nightingale was, the more I learn about her, the more I'm like, you were kind of problematic. And there were a lot of other cooler people I wish we would have looked at more. But she did add things to profession for sure. But there were a lot of other really cool people who did a lot as well. I would argue more. A lot of those historical figures were products of their time. True, but why don't we focus more on other people who, yes, you're a product partially of your environment, but a lot of other people were doing a lot cooler things. And I did a video a while ago on just some really cool nurses that are undervalued, you know what I mean? Who are doing all the things. And we don't focus on them. And I really think we could focus more on those people who were overcoming a lot and really doing a lot. And yeah, we do learn about it. We don't learn enough about it, I think, but I think we could learn a whole heck of a lot more. Nursing education is very, very, very whitewashed and upper class washed, even within that. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a mess. So we definitely could learn a lot better, I think, in a more well-rounded thing. I had no idea about this until very recently when I was researching it, actually, very, very recently. Nurse Scott said, I'd love to learn more about them. As I'm thinking about this, I'm like, I did that for Lecturio. I didn't do it on my channel. So I will do we can have an educational session on who like awesome nursing people who aren't typically highlighted because they were not in the upper stratas of like society, which is where we got our history. Elizabeth Askander said, not my experience. I went to a community college and felt it was really well-rounded and good. Well, good. Mine was awful. Mine was Florence Nightingale, and then whoever, there was like a public health person, and like that is literally it. Mary Mahoney, that's who I was thinking about. I wrote a ton, Harriet Tubman, I wrote a ton of different things. They were just like a bunch of cool nurses. We'll do a whole thing on it. It was cool. And I'm really glad that like people did have a well-rounded thing. So if you had a well-rounded education like Tanya, it sounds like yours might have been better. Elizabeth, that sounds good. Mary Seacole was in the same era as Florence Nightingale. She's actually fascinating. She basically like Florence Nightingale, like she went over, like this is in the Crimean War, and the army told Mary no because she was Black. Literally, they like kept asking for nurses, and she's like, "You can pick me. I have like decades of experience." And they said like, nobody wants to volunteer. She's like, "I'll volunteer," and they were just like, "Oh, nobody? Okay, nobody." So she rented her own freaking boat and went over and just did it by herself. She's like, "It's fine. I'll do it by myself," and like made food, sold food to the soldiers who were rich so that she could buy supplies for people who for soldiers who didn't have any money for like medical supply, like getting medical care, like over there, just like by herself. She's like, "It's fine. I'll do it by myself." So I'm like, that's so hardcore. You don't learn about her. We don't learn about her. So maybe you did. And that's awesome. Okay, friends. This was great. This too. This is a pet peeve. We still need to have our pet peeves trial. I'm a patient, not a client. Don't sell me services. Provide me the care I need, not a sales pitch. I hate when we call patients clients. I don't know when that started. I agree. You are a patient. You are a human. You are a human. You are there to get care. You are not there to get, you're there to get care. You're not there to be like sold things to. You're not a client. I didn't like purposefully, rupture my appendix so that I could go and become someone under you. Let me see. Okay. Tanya said, look at all the theorists who we learn about. Tell me where you find any of these theories actually being practiced consistently. I hate theory. I think we should chop theory out of nursing school. Just be gone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Consumers. I hate that even more. Tamara says they call their patients consumers. Oh my gosh. That sounds awful. Scott says that was the 1990s when nursing wanted to sound more professional by calling people clients. That makes it sound, I don't know. When I think of clients, I think of okay, back up. When I think of clients, I definitely think of someone who does a very different type of nursing. More on the like sexy times stereotype. When I was a night shift nurse, I one time walked out of my house. So I got home from work, 8 a.m., walked outside, had a beer when I was walking my dog around the block, just sipping a beer at 8 a.m., not really super conscious of like what was happening. I was not wearing my scrubs anymore. I was just wearing like, I don't know, loungy pants. And one of my neighbors was like staring at me. And I told them, because in my mind, I was just like tired. So with my beer at 8 a.m. and I was like, oh, it's fine. I'm a worker of the night. They did not think I was a nurse. They did not think I was a nurse. They did tell my other neighbors. It was pretty awkward. We had to move. We moved for other reasons, but it was awkward and no one talked to me after that. And hey, if that is your profession, you go make your bank. Please be safe. Go get testing frequently, but you do you. But yeah, my neighbors for a very long time thought that I was a worker of the night. When all I was trying to do was explain, that's why I'm drinking beer and I look like I've just been through a tornado. Yeah, but that's what I think of when I hear client. I'm like, oh, you're my client. Okay, let us wrap up. Thanks for being here tonight, friends. Wonderful as always. I do have some updates, okay? fun update, fun random. So in case you didn't know, you probably don't because this is before your time. Yes, please do chest compressions on the like button and subscribe. I very much appreciate you. And if you have any ideas of future streams, you can always send them to me either on Instagram. You can send them to me via email. Let me know because I want to make things that you actually want to watch. So let me know. And I have something for you to watch if you are in the mood to just watch something silly. Okay. So years ago, I used to play video games, like not crazy, but like the farming ones, like not real video games, right? Like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, in case you're familiar with these. That's where you're just like, you make farms and you have cute animals. Like that's my level of video game. I can play Pokemon. I collect the cute ones. That's how I decide. I used to play that casually, right? And I have not played any video games for a long, like since Avery was born. And that I had no intention on necessarily changing because I was like, nothing has caught my eye until Dreamlight Valley, which is basically a farming game. Oh, The Sims, Adrian. The Sims. I could play some Sims. Yes. So I like those kind of games, not like we don't shoot people. We just make cute houses. We decorate them. We get cute animals. Those types of things. Very into it. Pre-children, I was like totes into that. And I can see Nurse Liz playing hardcore Animal Crossing and competitive Pokemon. Yes. Then I had babies. Like I said, hadn't gotten back into anything. So I was like, I don't really have the time to devote, nothing has caught my eye in a way that, I felt the need, you know what I mean, to go and play anything. I didn't really have time. I don't really know if I have time now. I definitely don't. My sister's probably watching this. This is a surprise to her. She runs my life. And she's probably like, what are you talking about? But Disney came out with something called Dreamlight Valley. And I'm just going to introduce it to you. Okay. I'm going to play it and I'm going to stream it. Okay. So we're going to look at what it is. And then I will show you the link and you can go and subscribe to my channel that my sister's panicking right now. She's like, wait, what? We're not going to play it a lot. I'm not becoming a streamer, but I said, if I'm going to play it, I need someone to chat to and to save the sanity of my spouse. We're going to stream it. So this is Disney's Dreamlight Valley. Essentially you go in and you play like a farming type game in Disney. Why is it doing this? My mouse is dying. That's why. You go in and you can, I don't know, collect things. You fight off lands and you decorate them. And you have to like rid the evil of Disneyland and you team up with other people from Disney. Magical. So, oh, she says, don't play trailers. You'll get a copyright. We won't play trailers. We'll just look at pictures. Is that safe? So I'm going to be playing here and there, not hardcore, but I'm going to see if I can stream it. We're going to make a character. We're going to go through. We're going to fight the lands. I mean, does this just not look blissful? So it's going to be on a totally different channel, which I will link right here when I find it. Can I be Amish? SimCity, natural disaster destroyed all my hard work. That is absolutely a tragedy. So it's, yes, kind of like farming Kingdom Hearts. Can I be Amish? Probably. I want a black buggy. I have a lot of, my neighbors are like Amish here. So that's nice. So if you want to watch me chat at you, what's the financial impact? Is it like Candy Crush? I think it's like $30 or something. And then I was like, okay, I can pay $30 for Disney Bliss. That's perfect. In case you didn't know, I grew up in Southern California and I had passes to Disneyland when they were like, you used to be able to buy Disneyland passes for like literally less than $100 a year. That is not the case anymore. But we like grew up having Disneyland passes and we would go. I lived there practically. So I love Disney. If you would like to watch me wander around while I ramble about Dreamlight Valley, I have created this YouTube channel called, are you ready for it? Dopamine as needed. Look at the top thing that Joe made for me. Dopamine PRN, because you get dopamine from, watching video games. I don't have any subscribers. I don't have any videos. I just literally created it. I'll put the name in the chat. So you can go and subscribe. Someone who gets to be my first subscriber, you win all my affection. Zero pressure. This is just if you want to watch me wander around and, hang out. It's there for you. It's going to be very low key. There's going to be a Twitch for it. I thought about Twitch, but I was like, I don't even want to learn how to use Twitch. I am not that engaged in this process. I already know how to use YouTube. We're going to do this. So if you just need a low key good time, please do come over and join me for wandering around in my dreamland. It will not be often because, like I said, not like a ton of free time, but like here and there for an hour. And then if I have people who like, even if like 2 of you hang out with me, then I'll feel like I'm, it's not wasting my time. I'm socializing, because now I have to justify playing games. Where in SoCal, I grew up in Mission Viejo, Orange County. Let me see. So there we go. We have that. Feel free to go and subscribe. I left the channel, whatever, in the comments. Everyone tell Joe what you think of his icon. I came up with an initial one that was like similar, but not nearly as good. And here we are. So that's where we are. Let me know. I don't remember what I was going to say. I think I'll probably stream tomorrow, not on Dopamine is not on this extra one, but on here about the strike. Kind of wrap up last week's strike, do some gaslighting bingo. And then I don't have a topic yet that I have found for our group chat on I haven't done it on the group chat. So if you have any topics that are out there that you think the panel should discuss, please let us know. Rogue NP is from Huntington Beach. Very cool. I've been to your beach many times. Peloton has a new game section on it. Did you play that? No, but I'll need to. I'll be honest. I have not exercised in forever since I got a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, whenever I started to get poison ivy, because I can't do anything without this and everything, because you have like this rash all over my body and it just gets so angry. So angry. Yeah. And yeah, so do that. If you want to watch me review, go over the video with Dr. Cellini, you can become a channel member, or you can just like and subscribe and support the channel that way. That's free. That's always welcome. And, David, honestly, I come to agree with a lot of the Noctur stuff, just not the way they say it. After going through nursing school, it was really poor quality education. Yeah, well, I mean, I agree. I just think they could be nicer about it. And yeah. So, Dr. Mr. Midwife, I'll call you in something. I've taken all the things. I'm on day 45 of steroids and it's not working. So also have all the creams. Now my skin is getting way too thin because of all the steroids, because that's what happens. I'm taking all the things to stop all allergic reactions and it's just not working. So good luck, Untie. Wish me luck on my application for LPN program. Good luck. I want to be a nurse and level up from being a CNA. Very good luck. But as a CNA, you are perfectly valuable and that is a wonderful career in and itself. Just to reframe it for you that you don't need to level up. Okay, Rachel's telling me I have to go. Thanks for being here. I hope you remember you are not alone, my friends. You are more than enough and you can do hard things. Until next time, friends. I will see you later. Bye. Oh, we have to get rid of the comment first. Gotta go. She's like, please stop rambling. Please, Liz, stop. Like, I'm sorry. Just need to have like a chatty stream where we don't talk about anything. I guess that's probably going to be what this Disney thing is about. If I ever figure it out, it'll be interesting. All right. Have a good night, friends. Bye.